That is We Are Messengers with Love on Positive Beats Yes FM. They are going to be in concert 2 times in our area. It's April 21st in Lima and April 24th in Pettisville. Keep listening for details or visit our website, yeshome.com. But now it is time for the Positive Chats podcast. And joining us this morning to chat is Jorge and Kat Vaquez about Your Story Is Not Done, a film series, book series, and podcast. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for jumping in here this morning and chatting with us. Where are you guys at this morning?
We are in sunny Orlando. So, getting ready for summer, an early summer. It's already in the 90s this week. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. I know. We skipped through spring. There's no spring here. We had 2 days of spring.
Yeah.
So.
We are waiting for spring. We've had 2 days, one here, one there, and we're still freezing.
We're sending warm thoughts your way.
Yeah.
Please do. Well, I love the title, Your Story Is Not Done. And also it's intriguing. We are getting this story out in a variety of ways, by film, book, and podcast. Give us your little background of you two and what you guys are doing with Your Story Is Not Done.
Well, we are husband and wife team. We've been married for going on 19 years. And we consider ourselves to be, media missionaries. So we feel media is so powerful, as you know, Jeff, with radio and TV. And so we have a campaign to share the hope of Jesus. We feel that the world's getting hopeless day by day. And we as believers have an endless supply of hope. And so God's, spoke to us years ago. It's a little bit long story, but he just said, hey, it's time to go share that regardless of what you've done, it's time to come home and your story's not done. And so we're going after prodigals and last hour workers with that message, that message of Christ's hope.
And Jeff, to explain what the campaign is all about, it is a film series, it is a book, it's a podcast, and we also have merch that amplifies hope. And we believe that these are just tools, different ways, different formats to share the hope of Jesus. And the film series recently, this is such an amazing God thing, was nominated for Best Documentary Award, which is something that we never expected would happen. But the film series itself is the hook. And we've got 3 films right now, and we're currently producing our next season. But they simply follow the stories of folks who lost all faith. They were at the bottom of their storyline, and they opened up their heart and just asked and submitted to the Lord. And with a simple invitation, he came into their real and turned. It was quite a plot twist. And so Jesus is so masterful. When you invite him into your reel, he is a masterful storyteller. He brings comeback stories and second chances and gives hope and brings healing and life and fills us with purpose. So those are the stories that we like to tell. And the book is a little bit more of the same. It's just a practical tool that we like to give to rehab centers, to prisons, to programs that are rehabilitating folks coming out of the trafficking industry. And those are tools that simply share the message of Jesus, and that with him, your story is not done. It's just beginning.
Yes. Well, let's take a look at the film series. You said you've had 3 so far, and the first one features someone that we're familiar with here at Yes FM in the music industry, Brian Head Welch. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that's really neat. So we're good friends with Brian, and when God started giving us the vision for this, we called him up and said, hey, would you be the first pilot? And so this time around, we took a little bit different take on his story. We shared more of the story of him and his daughter. And so his daughter has been on the road with him, since she was 2 or 3 years old. And so it really kind of took that angle of it, that, hey, he became a believer. He did everything right. That's just the little soundbite that we have in our trailer. But, I thought you were the God of miracles, but why is this happening, right? Because she was turning away from the Lord. So it was neat to capture that story. And the funny thing is, his daughter was watching our kids when we first started filming. Oh, wow. And then towards that same day, it was hilarious. So,
well, if you could imagine being a rock star's child, that's a completely unique dynamic. And this sweet young lady, for lack of a better word, really was neglected early on. And so the Lord started softening Brian's heart, and he realized he had a choice to check in and be a present dad, which meant that he would have to turn away from his career. He had built the name and the band Korn. They had become a Grammy Award-winning band, and he had a very real choice, a hard choice. And so he made the right choice and checked in as a father. And today that precious young lady is helping pay it forward. And she's involved in an outreach ministry herself that brings healing and restoration and mentors young women who have either experienced abuse or some form of betrayal, or even coming out of addictions. So she is quite the rescue story herself. So we love to champion Janaea's story as well. But we do have two other shows and films. And so those films you can see on Roku and also Amazon Prime.
All right. And how, for those that maybe aren't familiar with Roku or Amazon Prime, how would they access to see your films through those?
If they just go to yourstoriesnotdone.com, there they'll find links to the different channels on Roku or directly to Amazon, where they could go straight to the Amazon app. So we're also getting ready to launch it on the website. So that way, we have a very mobile-friendly website, so you can watch it on your phones, watch it on a smart TV. So, if they go to yourstoriesnotdone.com.
All right. Yourstorysnotdone.com.
And the films are the hook. The book is the practical growth tool that helps us grow in our faith walk. And then the merch is the Amplify Hope piece. So we like to say, watch, read, and wear.
And you would be surprised. One of the things we love to do is hand out these stickers. And a lot of people order stickers to give out. And it's just a cool looking, almost looks like a tattoo, Your Story's Not Done. But on the back, there's a QR code that goes straight to the website. And on the website, there's a link that says, hey, meet the author. And so a lot of people, they've told us they think it's the author of the whole series or the book. They think it's us. And in reality, when you click on it, it shares the gospel, has a video, a quick 2-minute video. Actually, it's less than 2 minutes, where it shares the gospel from that angle. And then towards the bottom, it says, now read his work. And you click on it and it goes to the Bible app. Oh, so it's a really good way to share the good news just by, wearing a shirt that says your story's not done, giving someone a sticker, sending a link to somebody with the website, just that, maybe feels down and out. There's a lot of people that feel like God passed them over, that they messed up. The father of all lies, Satan, he hates us, right? And so he tries to put guilt and shame. And the honest truth is that God took all our guilt and shame on Calvary. And so, we don't have to take that on anymore. It's not ours anymore. And so he tries to lie to us to say, hey, God doesn't love you, but it's quite the opposite. God loves you. He's crazy about you. He wants to be with you. And so we need to spread that message.
Well, even go ahead. Well, I was going to say the phrase "your story is not done" sure is attention getting, especially for someone that is just feeling like their life has no purpose and maybe even thoughts of suicide. They would see that sticker and say, "Yeah, get their attention." Oh, my story's not done.
Right. That's right.
There's hope.
There is hope. There is hope. And here's the thing: it's twofold. The mission we're trying to do. We're trying to tell people that with Jesus, your story is not done, but we're also trying to encourage believers to share their story. The Bible is clear that we overcome the enemy, the devil, with the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony, our story, right? And so we need to share our stories with as many people as we can, because God will use us sharing what he did. And by the way, it's not self-seeking to share your story. It's bragging on God. You're bragging on God when you share what God did for you. And that's totally a great thing to do is to brag on God, give him all the glory by sharing your story.
Yeah, the power of testimony, for sure. And in the film series, you also have Annie Lobert and Scott McNamara. Real quick, tell us about those two.
So Annie Lobert was 15 years in the commercial trafficking business in Las Vegas. She worked the strip day in, day out. That was her means of getting by and survival. The crux of her story is getting to the heart of the matter, and it's what every single human needs. It's love, acceptance, affirmation. And sadly, early on, she was preyed on by a pimp, and she fell in love with this pimp who turned into a monster. And that sadly is the pattern in the trafficking world. That is how they trap young people and young women especially. And so she was 15 years caught up in this terrible, abusive relationship, and at the expense of giving herself away to get paid. And then she had to turn over her earnings to her pimp. That whole world, for those that are not familiar, is vicious, and it absolutely strips all dignity from you mentally, physically, and emotionally, and within your heart. And she was at death's door numerous times. She had a second overdose and had an experience, an out-of-body experience, where she was kind of caught in between this earth and heaven. And the Lord gave her a gift, and she started hearing the prayers of her family members who had been praying for her that she didn't even know about. And the Lord miraculously brought her back to life. And when she came conscious out of the hospital, she made a radical promise to the Lord that she would serve him for the rest of her days, and promised to rescue other precious ones out of that terrible industry that trafficking is. And today she serves in Vegas as a rescuer. She has her own ministry called Hookers for Jesus and Destiny House, where they rehabilitate women that have been rescued from the streets, and they do the hard work. They mentor them, they pour into them, and they help get them prepared to go back into the workforce again, and they help get them jobs. She is doing the hard work, and truly one of my heroes. Annie Lobert is the second film in the series. You can watch her program through our website's link on Roku. And again, that is yourstoryisnotdone.com. The third film highlights Scott McNamara, and we are truly excited because Scott is going to be our guest next week on the Backstory podcast that we also host. Scott's story is also radical. He came from Liverpool on the other side of the pond. He was in a boy band in the 1990s, was being prepared and worked with by Simon Cowell himself. And all of the world was at his feet. He had the world at a silver platter, as most rock stars who are signed to major labels have that experience. But he fell into a group of people who were kingpins of the underworld. And he quickly became addicted and grew to having a high tolerance of very damaging opioids and drugs. And he started overdosing. Again, this was sadly a sequence in his life. He had his second overdose and also had a death experience where he experienced hell. And what he saw, felt, heard is so impactful. So we encourage people to hang in there with us because we are debuting that powerful film within a matter of weeks. That film has also been nominated in a best documentary category. So we really want people to hang in there with us and be sure to check out Scott McNamara's story because he is alive and well today, but there was a radical intervention by a powerful God. He has such a purpose on that brother's life. And I tell you, if that doesn't spell out that your story is not done, I don't know what does.
Wow. And then the film, George, the next step is to read the book. Tell us about the book. What will we find in that?
Sure. So the book really, what I love about this book is that if you know someone that God puts on your heart and you just been praying for them, this is a book. This is the type of book you want to hand to them, because it really just addresses, how God's always been for rewriting people's stories. And it's a short book. I always say I like to write books for people that don't like to read. I get straight to the point, and because it's just impactful, full of just examples in the Bible of people that are just like you and I. Kat's always saying that, hey, they weren't 10 feet tall and bulletproof. These people in the Bible, like David and Joseph, God used them, and He can use you. And so it's a real practical way to share the hope of Jesus, and it shares the gospel from that angle. And so it's a great read. And like I said, if someone has been put on your heart, this is the type of book that you put in their hands as you're praying for them, as you're witnessing and loving on them, and just, here you go, read this, try this out. And I do feel that God's going to use the book as He has been already.
Which is on our website, YourStoryIsNotDone.com.
Yeah.
We're talking with Jorge and Kat Vaquez about Your Story Is Not Done, and film, book, and podcast. Again, how can people watch the films?
On YourStoryIsNotDone.com, there are links that take you to those virtual film platforms, which is Roku and Amazon Prime.
And get the book there as well?
Yes, sir.
And get some gear too. You can get stickers, T-shirts. Spread the campaign, spread the hope of Jesus.
Yeah, great attention-getting line. That's for sure. And the podcast. How can people tune into that?
So the best ways to go to the website as well. YourStoryIsNotDone.com. Right now, it's only on YouTube and stream live through Facebook. We're getting ready to launch it on all the podcast catchers, but it's fairly new, and so we just launched it less than a year ago. We were waiting till we had more episodes before we launched it on Spotify and Apple, etc.
All right. Well, wow, man, you guys are busy, but man, the doors and opportunities that God has blessed you with, that is awesome. And the stories, gosh, we all got to get on YourStoryIsNotDone.com and check these out. Wow.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, and Lord's blessings upon your ministry, and keep it going.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, brother.
What an honor to be on your show and your station.
Oh, well, thank you. It's an honor to talk with you guys.
Thank you, Jeff.
Again, that is Jorge and Kat Vaquez. Your Story Is Not Done, and the website again is
YourStoryIsNotDone.com.
All right. Thank you, guys, and hopefully we'll talk with you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks. God bless.